Hello everyone, welcome back to this game. You know, this is a very fitting title screen now that I think about it. I mean, during this adventure we occasionally go chasing after bad guys, but for the most part this game is about going out into the wilderness and exploring the unknown. And I think that this title screen encompasses that very well. Anyway, when we last left off, we were in Leaves Rest. And I just acquired an item. Let me take a look at it again. So looking at this item again, Silent Blessing. I'm betting that this is going to be for a sub-quest that we're going to acquire later on. We'll probably be given a hint on how we were supposed to acquire it. So, I'm actually kind of proud that I was able to figure out what to do on my own. Also, where are we again? Leaves Rest? Let me take a look at the rare beasts here. Yeah, there is a pumpkin-related enemy here. But I was expecting a location that was more pumpkin-themed. Well, maybe, we'll see more pumpkins as we go along. At the very least, the fall aesthetic is still nice. Not quite worth the hype that I was making on the way here, but it's still nice. As are a lot of locations in this game so far. And I was going to use that to segue into thoughts on a previous location, but we seem to have arrived at an important spot. Why do all large mana stones have to be so dang far away from the settlement? I assume because you've already found all the ones that are nearby. And I said nearby because I couldn't decide whether to say close by or nearby, so I said nearby. We should set up camp before it gets dark. I am not going to proceed onward without camping first. Even though they're not physical party members on my team, it's still neat to have these two tagging along. The Oracle loves pairing up Starkus and me. He knows we don't get along, so it's his plan to make us bond. It never works. We're too different. But then you came along, and I have to admit that this team is growing on me. Do you feel the same way? You know what? Sure. I'm glad to hear that. It's getting late. We should get some sleep. There's something primal about staring at a bonfire. Has Fred ever told you about the time he got sick eating shrooms around here? It was bad. He got really pale and sick. However, it was hilarious. He completely soiled his pants. I can't imagine that we live in a world with laundry detergent either. He managed to concoct a cure himself. Plus he was carrying another pair of pants for some reason. I have multiple possible responses to that. I'm gonna go with... You can definitely have too many pants. This means there must be a pair of soiled pants buried somewhere within these woods. Now that was a fun day. Fred and I rarely get along, but still the memories like that sure beat loneliness. Time to get some soda. Scar, don't you go digging up anything around here. It doesn't feel that long since we last leveled up. Do I have enough experience? Oh, how about that? Let's go ahead and get an upgrade here. Boost to a stat. I don't know that I'll necessarily do a magic attack boost anytime soon. I so rarely actually use magic attacks. Well, I mean, they were helpful in the previous quest, but, haven't really used them much here. That said, it is something that we have not boosted yet. I should probably get on that. How is it possible for the leaves in here to never cease falling? I mean, in the back of my mind, I was kind of wondering that, but I just like the aesthetic, so I'm not going to call it out. Let's keep going. We should be about halfway out of these woods. I'll tell you what, if we're already at the halfway point of these woods, this is a lot shorter place than Alaror's Wrath. And I was about to use that to segue into something I want to bring up, but the Silent Blessing is growing. And the path appears in front of you. Okay, so no, that's not for our subquest. We actually needed to grab that. Well, all the more reason I'm proud that I managed to figure that out on my own. Also, pumpkins! Still not quite reaching the aesthetic I'm thinking of. But hey. You can't have fall without pumpkins. I know they're largely a Halloween thing, but I like pumpkins for fall aesthetics as well. That... You are certainly a limber tree. I guess you could say you're limber timber. I'm just gonna sit on that joke because I got nothing else. Okay, you, I am definitely gonna sneak up on. That feeling when you have to sneak up on a tree. Video games are weird. Although, is this really a tree? It's more like, well, I'm not really sure what it is. I mean, obviously it's a birchoid. But is it like a crab with a tree growing on it? Or like... Oh, that's unfortunate. How many mana showers am I up to? 103, so you can definitely carry more than 99 of those. Unlike certain other items. Speaking of which, I might as well use those. Oh, I got my own razor leaf. Have I had one of those before? Yeah, I found a few of those. I wonder if my magic stat also affects magic items. Pumpkin, a fall favorite. Indeed. Pumpkins are used for both cooking and decoration. Some lunatics even puree it to mix it with coffee and milk. That sounds tasty. Does that mean I'm a lunatic? Nah, probably not. Oh, speaking of decorative pumpkins, oh, is that the rare beast we were just talking about? I bet it is. And we got a pumpkin maze. Sure, why not? No idea who's out here arranging pumpkins like this, but, okie dokie. I refuse to save on an older file. I mean, aside from current stream, current file. Whatever. I'm gonna touch this unusual looking pumpkin. That is not at all what I expected you to look like. I was expecting the head to be up top and it was some weird leaning thing. No, it's a pumpkin caterpillar. It's actually kind of cute. Alright, is there going to be a trick to fighting you? Trick or treat. Okay. Well, I don't know what trick or treat was supposed to do. It kind of buzzed. Oh. Alright, so the trick is we take damage, the treat is we get healed. This is a fun enemy. A lot more fun than that last rare beast we fought. I feel like that last one, I wasn't supposed to fight it until acquiring some means of fighting it later on. Some way to deal with the instant death. But I was there. I was gonna fight it while I was there. Okay, we got a few pumpkin items. There's our trophy. We got a pumpkin and a pumpkin charm. I am interested in the pumpkin charm. A good luck charm made out of crystallized pumpkin. Doubles item drop rate. Let's see. A school helmet is basically defense. We lose a lot of it if we take it off. Hunter's necklace was improving critical hit rate, which has definitely been helpful. I'm still gonna wear that. Yeah, let's do that. I wonder how big this charm is. Where am I wearing it? And is it something on my wrist? Am I wearing it as a necklace? Is it a tongue piercing? All things considered, we got through that fight pretty well. Not exactly one of the tougher rare beasts. Speaking of which, I should probably return this trophy and get my reward. But I want to fight you first. Oh, you have a lot of rewards. Speaking of rewards. Let's actually return this trophy in first. It might be useful. What is the reward going to be? Our reward is pumpkin spice. That reminds me, we got some sort of status affliction during that fight, but... well, we don't have it now. Maybe we can learn what it is when we get this pumpkin spice, because it uses that same icon. How far along in are we here? Okay, we're down there. So, I'm figuring that this is the end of this particular journey, the last location before we find that giant mana crystal. The jagged edge of the world kind of hints at that. It's uniform going across. That's a pumpkin face! You filled the rare beast, Wormkin. I'll take that off your hands. Here's your reward. 3 pumpkin spice. Great job, Lambda. Okay, so what else can we do? I just realized that I can just press up to go to the end of the list. Well, I don't think there's any more rare beasts in our current destination. Eevee's Edge. I wonder where that is. Could it be at the edge of the world? I don't think that's the monster that kicked our butt at the start of the game. I can't remember what that monster was. Pumpkin Spice. Deals non-elemental magic damage to all foes and may pumpkin spice them. Uncurable damage over time. Well, that explains why it wears out after battle. Otherwise, it would never be cured. Also, pumpkin spice is a status effect. You cannot press up to go to the bottom of this list. This still isn't the place I was thinking of, by the way. But it's still a nice place. I am totally into this aesthetic. I mean, not necessarily the, pumpkin maze aesthetic. What did I just pick up? Probably just a random item. After this quest is over, I should buy more elemental orbs. I just had a thought. I got something that does critical hits, right? No, it was a counter spell. Never mind then. Oh, that's what I picked up. Hardwood. Which happens to involve counterattacking. I knew there was something that I got from one of those wooden enemies that involved counterattacks. Is it worth using against them? Not really. I'd have to use a turn to be able to counterattack, and, well, if I'm spending 2 turns in battle anyway, I might as well just attack. What do you think it's like for the squirrels? I attempt to climb up a tree, but oh no, it's a monster. Do you think the monsters just snag them and eat them? Squirrel thinks it's going into a home for itself, and nope, it's going into the belly of a monster. Or, do you suppose that squirrels and these tree monsters are actually friendly with each other? Maybe the squirrels actually make homes in their bellies. No, that's a locket. Pumpkin locket. A locket that resembles a small pumpkin. It is imbued with magical properties that provide an M defense plus buff in combat. And holy heck, does it provide a buff. For the moment, I'm gonna keep my critical hit accessory on, but as soon as we come upon boss time, that would be good to switch on. I wonder if that sort of thing would actually be helpful against the kamikaze monsters from the previous dungeon. Because that attack ignored evasion, therefore it was some sort of special attack. And while we are on the subject of that place, and I was going to segue to what I was going to talk about there, so I'm going to talk about there. That place was annoying towards the end. It is interesting that we effectively had random encounters that you could see. They were both better and worse than regular random encounters. They were better in that if you didn't want to fight them, you could just run away from them. You would get away from them eventually. But they were worse in that you could get into those encounters just by sitting still, because they always homed in on you, which was very frequent, in particular whenever I was mining crystals. And I'm glad that you could actually run from them pretty easily, but even then, they pester the heck out of you, and that last section where it was nothing but those kamikaze pterodactyls, that was not fun, because there was no way I was going to fight them. I had to keep running from them, and they would just keep pestering me. And by the way, running from them means that you are stunned for a second before you can actually begin running. You have got to be kidding me. Anyway, I don't know if there was some way to deal with those pterodactyls to win without being almost killed at the end of every fight. But oof. Also, ew. Looks like a Manafinder had an accident while on duty. You're not thinking about wearing them, right? I am sad that you cannot sell armor. I really hope that either Starkus or Frederick acknowledge that I have acquired these. Detrimental stat buffs. Would I wear these? No. Somebody out there would. How many Heaven Stones do I have? 2? I need to return those at some point. But I'm near the end of this dungeon, so I'm just going to press onward. Actually, probably near the end of the quest. Which means there is likely a big boss fight incoming, nearby.